The Citizen Tsuyosa was a huge surprise when it came out in 2022. 2 years later, Citizen has come out with what is arguably the most changed, maybe improved, version of this watch, which is the guilloché small seconds. A lot has changed, a lot has remained the same, but is this watch the same beast as the ones that came before it? Has it been improved or has it been somehow nerfed? I have the two versions of this watch, the new small seconds and the non-small seconds. So we're going to be comparing these two watches to see which one is now the best. Let's go right away. And we are going to be starting by what has remained the same. As you can see, it is pretty much the same watch, at least on the case. The finishing, the overall shape of the case has remained the same, with that now very familiar case. Some things have changed though, as the middle links of the bracelet are much broader now, you have a much bigger space to attach it, and proving that Citizen has been listening, the crown is a little bit more protruding in this version than on the previous ones. Dimensions wise, there's a small slight change, and I double and triple measured, so I'm certain of my measures. On the older versions, the 40mm diameter has not changed at all, but I swear that on this new version, you've got a 0.1mm more, taking it to 12mm instead of the 11.9 of the previous versions. Though log to log, you've got 44.7, so exactly the same, but the end link to end link goes from 49.3 on the previous models to 49.6 on the small seconds. On the previous models, the bracelet went from 21.9 on its broader part to 17.6 when it met the clasp. On this version, it goes from 21.9 to 20. That will certainly appear on the negatives of this watch. We will discuss that later. Which leads me to the things that have changed on this watch. And let's start by that strap. As you can see, the middle links are much broader here, almost twice as broad as they were before, giving a different look to this bracelet, one that is much bulkier. When on this kind of watch, the guilloché dial, I would have preferred something more subtle. I really believe they should have stayed with the previous architecture. And the fact that it does not taper as much, only 2 centimeters, makes it that this watch appears quite larger on the wrist. Once again, I really believe it should have been the other way around. They should have made that this bracelet tapers much more, or at least as much as the previous ones. The fact that this watch is very slightly bigger on some measures, and especially that big bulky bracelet, makes it that it wears larger than the ones before. So do know that before you buy this watch. If you were a little bit on the fence because the normal Tsuyosa looked a little bit big, know that this one wears even bigger. It is not all bad though, because of one main thing, and it is of course the elephant in the room, the dial. The dial is mesmerizing. It is really good. It is announced at 379 euros. I could get mine for 341, which is great. And for that price, you get an extremely fine guilloché. I'm not saying that this is handmade. This is most certainly machine made, but it is very well made. And you can see how the guilloché plays with light. It is quite impressive to have this watch and to see it play with light when it is light. When you're in the shade, it looks almost black or dark gray, but when you're under the sun or in some lit room, the light just plays with it beautifully. If you buy this watch, you certainly will get it for that guilloché, for that small seconds. And I commend you to do so if you like the way it does here. And here I'm going, just to show you that Citizen has not skimped in price, I'm gonna compare it with the Zelos Nova that is known for its great guilloché. It is pretty much the same quality on a watch costing at the time almost 1,000 euros. For less than half, you've got something of similar quality. So that is a great move on Citizen's part. On the other thing that changes here, you've got the small seconds at 3, which is quite large. I'm happy to report that the hand is blued, pretty much the same color as the rest of the blue dial, that magnificent blue. I cannot stress how beautiful this dial is. The markers and hands remain pretty much the same as in the older versions. You've got some lume in here. The lume is as potent, as good. Nothing more to add on that respect. It is pretty much the same. The other thing that changes is that movement. Gone is the 82-15, enter the 83-22 movement. The previous movement had only 40 hours of power reserve. This one has 60, and that certainly is on the plus side for this watch. Here's the watch on the time grapher. As you can see, it is not great, it is not really bad either, but I would prefer something a bit more precise. It fluctuates between the plus 15, plus 17 there. Yeah, not great, but not terrible either. Not only that, but you can see it through the exhibition caseback, and it is beautifully decorated. That rotary is skeletonized. It does look great. When you compare it with the older version, which was yellowish, the older version looks, yeah, almost pedestrian. What definitely looks pedestrian compared to this one is the dial. Comparing the two watches side by side, you can see that one is just a sporty entry-level watch. You can see that directly on the dial, even though it's great quality. You can see that it's definitely a watch below 600 or 700 euros. When you go to the new version and you see only the watch face, you can see that it punches way above its league. Beautiful dial there. Not to say everything is perfect. Let's do the positives and the negatives. The positive, we have talked about it. It is that amazing guilloché, and it is a guilloché that can easily go on a watch 2 or 3 times the price of this one. So Citizen certainly delivers on that respect. The other positive, the crown now protrudes a little bit more, making changing the hour and even winding the watch a much easier task. It is not as easy as if it was all the way protruding at 3 o'clock, but it is somehow easier than the older versions. Another positive, something that I did not mention, the removable strap, which is a good thing because I really want to remove this strap whenever it's available. Something else, it is that movement, 60 hours of power reserve, makes it, yeah, go above. This watch punches above what was done before it, what came before it, the previous Tsuyosas. On the negative sides, it is of course that bracelet. I don't know why Citizen just did not put the same bracelet. Nobody would have complained. It looks okay, it is not the bracelet of the century, but they could just put the same, give us some solid elements and called it a day. That would have been great. Why they went the extra not needed mile by changing this design so much, and especially to a design that does not suit this watch. I really want to put the watch on another strap. I might even try to source the black one, although black doesn't go with dark blue, but yeah, you know, just to put it on something else. I really think that this watch head deserves a better strap, bracelet, whatever. And on the butterfly clasp, there is not even a Citizen sign in there. They could at least sign it. They didn't, and that is a mistake. Why didn't they do that? And pointing to something else that many of you have said in my comments before, the bulky bracelet shows one of the weaknesses of the Tsuyosa, and it's the fact that it's a bit too large. Many of you have commented before on that respect, especially in my comments. This watch needs to be smaller indeed, I agree with you. A 37, 38 with the same guilloché and a reviewed better bracelet that tapers, and you've got an absolute cracking winner. As it is right now, for the price, if you like the guilloché, I certainly recommend this watch. At the price, if you know the weaknesses. As I usually say in my channels, you really have to know what you buy, and that is why we watch reviewers are here. If you enjoy the guilloché, and you will, then this watch is perfect for you, especially at the price of $379. I would wait and pay $350 to get a bargain. But at that price, this watch is a bargain for what it offers. Know that it wears big, know that you will certainly not like that bracelet, and know that for now you cannot source it, at least not that I know of, with something else. I will go ahead and I will try and see if there's something that you can source it with to change this strap right now. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did so, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Goodbye.